Debunking the only channel that despite being debunked by his book by multiple YouTubers, he still is going and he thinks he knows more than NASA scientists. Yes, we're debunking Eric Dubay. Dubay, I think it's Dubay.
So tell me, Neil, is the Earth flat?
We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
NASA's other spokesperson, Michelle Thaler, whose top globe proofs I debunked in my previous video.
You didn't debunk. In fact, I think today Simon Dan debunked you debunking her. So, yeah. So that debunk was not a success. And now this debunk of Neil Degrasse is not going to be a success. Man, you cannot find success. Your 200 proofs gets debunked. Everything about your channel gets debunked. By all channels. This guy keeps on going on.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's first go-to answer when asked for scientific evidence that Earth is a spinning ball says, "We know because pictures." You mean pictures like these, Neil?
Yes. Yes, that's what he means. On this cartoon world, it is dark in Tokyo, Moscow, London, New York, Los Angeles, and Honolulu and Sydney simultaneously. Okay. So I just read the caption and it really bothers me. Now, just because that you cannot see London and New York does not mean it's dark there. I mean, not New York is dark, but like, just because you cannot see London does not mean that it's dark. Like, it's more of a bottom angle. And then it's like, I cannot see London, therefore it must be dark. But that's not correct, because it must be daytime. Like, this guy's logic is outstanding. Just because you cannot see London does not mean it's dark. It just means it's the angle is more bottom. Like, you can clearly see that you can see Africa and the Middle East. So we're already off to a good start.
Pictures like these, and we have
different nations see the world differently. Okay, so it's not this again. Okay, so yes, they do look a little different, but it's been photoshopped. But that doesn't mean that it's fake. It just means that it's been edited to look better.
video from space of the rotating.
We keep on telling them that just because it's Photoshop does not mean it's completely faked. It means that it just there to look nicer, but they never listen, do they? So which cartoon do you think you're living on? All of them. It's just all of them have different Photoshop edits to make it look better. Sheesh, flat earthers.
Earth, he says. You mean videos like these, Neil? Well, I know you already know this, but pictures and videos like these obvious CGIs.
They're not obvious CGIs. Like, you can see the aurora. I said, like, no matter how many times you tell them it's like not CGI, they won't listen.
Can be and are faked.
So basically, he's like, look at this aurora. It must be CGI. Like, what next video? Auroras are fake, and they're just put by global scientists. Is that the next video now?
And neither of those are permissible as scientific evidence.
What's odd is there are people who think Earth is flat,
Right.
but recognize that the moon is round. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the sun are all spheres, but Earth is flat. That's not, something doesn't square.
It doesn't jive, right?
Okay.
So like a magician who distracts you with one hand while fooling you with the other, Neil commits what I call the appeal to the sky fallacy, claiming to provide scientific proof for the shape
Now I know what this guy is saying. He's saying that we don't believe those planets are real anyway. Yeah, you don't believe, but like, haven't you seen like a flat Earth society? I think he means by flat Earth society from like that tweet to respond to Elon Musk, like, oh, Mars has been observed to be round. I think there are some flat earthers that they think space is real, but they're a rare amount. Yeah, you flat earthers can't seem to agree on one model, can you?
Earth under our feet by looking at a light in the sky. That's right. When you ask scientists for empirical, measurable proof of the shape of the Earth beneath our feet, they invariably, inevitably turn their noses up to the sky and start talking about the shape of things up there. Imagine inviting a contractor over to your house to measure the dimensions of your floor, and he immediately gets out his tape measure and starts measuring all the recessed lights in the ceiling.
So if you want to say Earth is flat, then, for example, lunar eclipses. What's a lunar eclipse? If your face is the brilliant sun,
Thank you.
and this is Earth, and the moon is over here, the sun is always casting Earth's shadow into space. It's always there no matter what.
Right.
So the moon occasionally passes through that shadow. And if you see the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon, it is always round. Always round. If Earth were flat, sometimes you get like a flat shadow.
Right.
And we've never seen a flat shadow.
Right.
To this day, heliocentrists still offer this argument as proof of a spherical Earth, claiming that
And then you flat earthers are like, I don't know, man. This seems like a good thing to ignore because it's gonna prove my model wrong. I'm just gonna say it's fake and move on. Yeah, that's what flat earthers, how they respond.
during lunar eclipses, the Sun, Earth, and Moon align in a perfect 180-degree syzygy like 3 billiard balls, causing the Sun to cast the Earth's shadow onto the Moon. This clever but faulty assumption is rendered completely invalid, however, due to the fact that lunar eclipses have happened and continue to happen regularly when both the
Okay. The thing about Eric Dubay's videos, there are two things to debunk simultaneously: the image and what he says. So let's just see this image. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. It's still the same. It's just the moon is in the way, and then there's a shadow on, and then there's a shadow. Nobody. The lights are still the same. The other lights are. They still exist. This doesn't happen. Oh my gosh, this guy's understanding of science is very bad, isn't it?
Sun and Moon are still visible together above the horizon. As early as the time of Pliny the Elder, there are records of eclipses happening while both the Sun and Moon were visible in the sky, and continue to be recorded by the Royal Astronomical Society to
Okay, so he's basically saying that lunar eclipses can still happen even though the sun and moon are both visible. What he doesn't understand is now what this guy Earth's shadow is required. Just because the sun and moon appear to be on like the same, like just because the sun and moon are both visible and lunar eclipses still happen does not mean that the argument that Neil deGrasse Tyson is disproven because remember the Earth is spinning, so the sun and moon appear to this eclipse appears to be impossible, but in fact, just the Earth spinning, the shadow of the Earth is still there. It doesn't change. It's like if I spin around, my shadow doesn't change. Like if there's only like one light in front of me, and then I spin. Now, and the shadow, it does not change direction.
are still visible, and it is therefore impossible that the Sun could be casting Earth's shadow on the Moon, and some other explanation must.
I do not understand. I don't understand some flat Earth images that they put in their videos. I do not understand the context. Like a pear on the moon. Like what does this have to do with the argument?
Another explanation, in fact, already existed in many cultures around the world, who posited that a third celestial body, known as Rahu, or the Black Sun, also existed, equal in size to the sun and moon. This translucent dark body passed affront the sun and moon during eclipses, causing their lights to dim. But regardless of what
You're one
causes
of
the
those flat earthers that believe in Rahakitu. Well, those guys are obviously not real. Like those guys are just myths. By the way, Multi-Tom also believes in this theory. Those are just myths. Myths are not real.
moon's lights to dim during lunar eclipses, it has absolutely nothing to do with offering scientific proof of the shape of the Earth.
There's a famous.
But it has, like, how do you explain lunar eclipses on flat Earth then? Not Multi-Tom, Eric Dubay. You have to also provide how can this be correct in flat Earth model.
Experiment conducted by Eratosthenes. And there are two cities in the old world, and one of them, they knew that at 12 noon on a particular day of the year, that the sun was directly overhead, and you could see the bottom of a well.
Oh, okay.
How can we use this observation to see if Earth's surface is curved? We need another well. Turns out we can't see the bottom of both wells at the same time. What might explain this? Well, there are two possible explanations. First, we could have a flat Earth with a sun that's small and close by, so that the light hits the second well at an angle. Or second, we could have a curved Earth with a sun that's big and far away, so that all the light comes in parallel, but only one well at a time is lit all the way to the bottom.
For his next supposed proof, Neil brings up Eratosthenes, who noted that at noon during the summer solstice in Sienne, the sun cast no shadow, and the rays could reach straight to the bottom of his well. Yet meanwhile, in Alexandria, a vertically standing metal rod cast a significant shadow. The length of the shadow with his assumed distance to the sun, Eratosthenes recorded a measurement of Earth's circumference close to what heliocentrist astronomers still use today. The fact of the matter is, however, that Eratosthenes' calculations were made assuming the sun to be millions of miles away, so that its rays would fall perfectly parallel, even in points as divergent as Sienne.
Now, I've already debunked Multi-Tom in this, and I'm going to say the same thing I did to him to you. Even if his calculations were wrong, you could still do the experiment yourself.
In Alexandria. This fault
We're doing things to them by.